Welcome to MoggyBoxCraft. I'm Deborah and welcome back to my greenhouse and garden. So today I thought I'd share with you what seeds I'm planting for my fruit and veg this year and a few flowers, how I'm planting them, how I'm growing them on, a bit of repotting, getting ready for spring, real spring, not this full spring. Because I feel like it's a lovely sunny day today, but it's not real spring. I know we're halfway through March, but I still don't trust there's going to be any last frosts yet. So we're going to keep most things in the greenhouse for a good month or two yet and wait for real spring and summer to descend upon us. So let's start with how I start things off. So I've got a couple of propagators here, and underneath the propagators I've got a couple of heat mats. So I just keep them turned on 24 hours a day. So I start my seeds off in here, keep them nice and watered, and while the seeds are germinating, I just pop on a lid. So I'll leave the lid on until the seeds start germinating. So once the seeds have germinated, I move them over to this little propagator, or propagator tray. And this propagator also has a heat mat underneath it. So a few of these seeds are a little bit leggy. That's all right. I just forgot about them for a few days, as I do put quite a lot of seeds in to germinate because I don't have a whole lot of space. After everything's germinated and growing a little bit, I'll thin everything out. Just go through, pick out the little seedlings that you don't want. Super easy to do. Gives a little bit of space to the ones that are growing, because I don't think we need 1200 tomato seedlings, do we? And yeah, I'll just leave them to grow on and then pick the best plants to continue with to actually plant up into the greenhouse later on. So now the plants are kind of a little bit more established, I'll move them over to this section so there's no heat mat under here. So down here I've got some cucumbers and courgettes and some pumpkins. Well, I've got some tester pumpkins, but we'll get onto that in a little minute. That is my little process, and then from here I'll just transfer into bigger pots as they grow as they need. And then when it's nice enough weather, I shall transplant them around the garden into the raised beds and around the greenhouse, and hopefully have a great growing season. What am I growing this year, you may ask? Let me show you. These are kind of more the flowers, sort of the flower and decorative side of things I'm growing this year. Do bear in mind I can't pronounce half of these, but I am trying my best. Coleus rainbow mix. Don't ask me to even attempt the Latin name. I can't even pronounce this as it is, but half-hardy perennial, an easy to grow dramatic foliage plant, and is a spectacular summer container bedding plant. Spectacular. Quite excited to see how these come on. We've got some winter pansies. I grew these last year and seed saved from them, so we'll see how they come on this year. Zinnia purple prince. Now if that grows, that's going to be spectacular colour. Ooh, beautiful. I want to say Punipe, but that doesn't sound right. China aster, beautiful pale pink colour. Poppy candy floss, beautiful pale lilac colour. Some dahlias, dwarf double mixed. Hopefully get some lovely little blooms from that, and a lovely rainbow colours. All the warm colours, yellows, orange, reds, pinks, so we will see. Some dahlias, the showpiece mixed. So these are the slightly taller, larger ones. Half-hardy perennials. All of these are a mix of mostly annuals with a few perennials mixed in, so we'll see how we got on this year, and then I might attempt growing them again next year. Some assorted sweet peas. Morning Glory Grandpa Oats. I mean, a good name for a flower, isn't it? Grandpa Oats. Really vibrant violet colour, gorgeous. Some lobelias, Mrs. Calibran. I had these left over, so I just thought I'll use up the seeds. So that's it for my seeded collection of flowers this year. However, for my hanging baskets, I am cheating slightly. And I went to Dobbies and I found, look how little cute these are, right? I found these little bedding plants. They just come as individual plants. How cute is that? But there is such a massive selection. You can get 8 for £10. So for my hanging baskets, I have cheated this year. Instead of buying a whole pile of packets of seeds to get lots of different colours, I decided that I can just pick a few colours of each. And there is so much variety. I mean, I've already planted some of these baskets up, but I've got a few more to show you down here. Petunias, I don't know how to pronounce these ones. Verbena. Oh, we've even got a wee fuchsia. Gorgeous. Such a great variety. I've already planted up a few of my hanging baskets. I've gone for a real mix in all my baskets, all different colours, all different varieties. I think it'll just be a little bit more attractive in the garden this year. Lots of splashes of colour. I've just done mixes of colours and plants that I think will look really nice together. So I've just filled up my hanging baskets with some compost. Halfway up I've added a little bit of feed. I'm just using a granulated plant food. That's what it looks like. Sprinkle a little bit of that into my hanging basket and then plant in some of the bedding plants. And if you've got yourself an old hanging basket like this and the inside plastic is a bit sheared away, I just get rid of that. And to reline, I just use a carrier bag. Pop it in, stretch it out so it fits. So stretch it out until it fits. Add a little bit of compost. Sprinkle in a little bit of the granulated plant food and top up with soil. I'm just using a general compost, nothing special about it. And then in each basket, I am just going to pick 3 plants or 3 colours of plants that I think are going to go together beautifully and pop them in. So my hanging baskets are all planted up. Obviously I'm going to leave the labels in so I know which plant is which. Water them in and then leave these in the greenhouse hanging up until hopefully the last frost and they come on a bit and I can pop them outside so I can have a bit more colour in the garden. Lovely. A bit of a cheats way at hanging baskets, but sometimes you just don't have enough room in your garden. These guys work really hard growing all these bedding plants on for us. So we have some beautiful colour in the garden with a little bit less effort. Now on to some of the veg and fruit, I guess. So these are all the seeds for the greenhouse this year. So I shall be growing cucumber variety market mower. I've grown these a few years and yeah, does what it says in the tin, reliable variety. Can't complain. Sweet corn variety incredible. They're F1 hybrid. Now I grew these last year, not so successful, but I did have them in the darkest part of the greenhouse. In Scotland, unfortunately, growing sweet corn outside just isn't a practical suggestion. I've tried it a few years, it doesn't work for me. So in the greenhouse it is. The only time I've really been successful with sweet corn is when I put it in the sunniest part of my greenhouse. So that's what I'm going to try again this year and just make sure it wasn't a fluke. Tomatoes, of course. A lot of these are seed saved tomatoes. I do have the original packets though. So I've got tomato moneymaker. I don't think I used the seed saved seeds this year. I've just finished off the packet. I'll keep the seed saved seeds for next year. I've got a tomato mix. I didn't label these properly, so I have no idea. I imagine there'll be some that's a tomato. I just mix them up, so I've just put them as tomato mix and it'll be a nice surprise when they grow. And my favourite tomato, Sun Golds. So they are an F1 hybrid as well. The rule of thumb goes, you shouldn't really grow from F1 hybrids because you never really know what you're going to get. But previous experience tells me you usually get a banging tomato. So I'm going to carry on growing Sun Golds from seed saved seeds because they're beautiful and tasty and they're such a sweet tomato. Oh, I love them. And often these can be really hard to find. They sell it quite quickly. So get yourself some Sun Golds. I highly recommend. This one's quite exciting actually, loofahs. So I tried to grow loofahs last year. I started them way too late. By the time I ordered the seeds last year, it was far too late. The plants did grow in the greenhouse, but I never quite got a loofah to grow. So, end of last year, a lassie I follow on Instagram, Chicks and Veg. I'll insert her name here or put her link in the description box below. She is a fab wee grower down south. Her garden is gorgeous and she is the queen of loofahs. So she ran a competition to guess how many seeds came out of her biggest giant loofah and I guessed correctly. So she sent me some seeds. So I have started growing the loofahs. They are starting to grow. Where are they at? I'll show you how they look. So here are the loofahs. Oh, they're starting to sprout. I'm so excited about these. Oh, and this one is actually starting to come through a little bit now. I can just see it poking through. How exciting. So we're going to try growing loofahs this year. Hopefully I've started them early enough. It's such a hard one in Scotland because you don't want to start everything too soon. Again, a general rule of thumb I find is to start everything about 2 weeks later than you think you should. I think one of my successful years, I only started planting seeds in April. And don't put anything out too early, because that's a surefire way to kill things off with the last frost. Pop them back in the propagator, keep them toasty and warm, and hopefully we can grow lupus in Scotland. If you've grown lupus in Scotland, let me know in the comments below and let me know how you've got on, and we can share our findings together. And now on to the veg for the raised beds. So mostly I do direct sow straight into the beds, but there's a few things I like to start off in the greenhouse. Courgettes. I love courgettes. So I've got Virginia 3 courgettes. We bought these in Tenerife quite a few years ago, but the seeds are cracking. I mean, they're germinating even now, and that must have been about 3 or 4 years ago. They're very pale green courgette. I love these. These are so good. And then ordinary courgettes defenders. Are these an F1 hybrid? Yes, they are. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about courgette? Not much. Pretty reliable, will grow like mad, and you'll end up with far too many courgettes. So don't feel like you need to plant loads of these. Usually 1 or 2 plants is more than plenty, depending on what you want to do with it. And finally, pumpkins. Over the years I've grown pumpkins a few times with varying success. So this year is my mission year for pumpkins. The one thing I have discovered about pumpkins is they're really bloody expensive, and you only get 4 seeds. I mean, what was this? We've got zombie pumpkins. I got 4 seeds. 4 for £2. 50 pence a seed, right? Small sugar pumpkins. How many did I get in here? I've got 25 seeds for £2.40. That was a bit more reasonable. Pacific Giant. What's in here? 7 seeds for £3. Well, £2.99. £3. So I thought to myself, why are pumpkin seeds so expensive when you get so many in a pumpkin? Do they just not store well? What is going on? So last year, I did a whole lot of pumpkin seed saving. I bought a Halloween pumpkin from the supermarket. It was Marks and Spencer's. I think it cost me 70 pence. I seed saved them. I mean, look how many seeds there are in there. I mean, that is a lot of pumpkin seeds. There are loads. And it was just 1 pumpkin. It wasn't even all the pumpkin seeds, it was just excessive. Sugar pumpkins I grew last year, seed saved from them. Now, these don't look quite so happy. They look a little bit fusty, because they are. Yeah, I put the lid on before they were completely dry, so I'll get to that in a minute. The trials and tribulations of pumpkin seed saving. The zombie pumpkins I grew, they didn't actually ripen. I had a whole heap of problems last year with the weather and everything, but I still saved the pumpkin seeds from them. So I didn't get quite so many, but even still, we've still got quite a lot left. So, rule 101 of pumpkin seed saving, make sure the seeds are completely dry before you seal them in any Tupperware. I've just been leaving the lids just slightly ajar, as you can see. Yeah, they do completely dry out with a bit of kitchen towel. I wasn't sure how well these would germinate, so I just threw loads into tester pots, and they all germinated, or most of them. So I've got a few up here. Here are my tester pumpkins. Yes, they're a little bit leggy. I kind of forgot about them, so I've only just transplanted these. So I'm restarting all my pumpkin seeds. For the seed saved pumpkins, I'm going to do 3 seeds in each cell. And for the Atlantic Giant pumpkin, I'm going to do 1 seed in each cell. So I want to keep some back, just in case it goes horribly wrong. I'm going to top them up with compost, water them in, water everything else in, all my hanging baskets, and leave everything happily in the greenhouse growing, hopefully. Let me know in the comments down below what you're growing, and if you've got any loofah tips or any other gardening tips you'd love to share. I would love to hear them. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like, leave a comment, share and subscribe. Of course, subscribing is optional, but it is very much appreciated. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!